So here we are. It's not really Swiss cheese anymore, so the title probably doesn't make sense. It's actually turning in, it may have turned another corner, if you can't tell. It's got some pretty extensive sheet metal mods that are getting started on the car. It's got this little LT5 in here that seems like it might stick through the hood. So
I think
we have some pictures of it. You can, with the hood, it sits up like this.
It's not going to work.
It's not going to, it's going to take a little bit.
So are you modifying the hood to make that all work? What's
that is the discussion right now as to whether we're going to, well, first of all, I'm going to move the engine back a little bit more because the blower pulley and stuff like that's a little longer on this. So I feel like we can move these wiring provisions over to the side, move the engine back probably a good 1.5 inches. That should help get this back under the hood a little bit. Customer always wanted to do, really liked the carbon hood renderings that we have, stuff like that. Just wasn't sure they wanted to go to that extent yet for the work. So that may come back into the discussion. The other thing that I'm kind of considering is using the Corvette ideas to where this would actually be flush with the hood. So the hood would be here and this would just stick through the hood, just like it did kind of on a Corvette. So to see how that goes, or we make something billet that goes over it. I wish there was a way to move these fittings to the back. I haven't taken the blower cover off to see if anything is reversible or some way to make these fittings go on the back, but that would be slick if you could make this and then taper it down.
Make all the cleanliness on the front side and put all the fittings up, because I mean, it almost looks like it's backwards.
It does.
I mean,
it does.
It definitely would look
I was really surprised coming out of a Corvette that because you know the hood slopes down so hard on I mean, these were front engine Corvettes back then, and I don't know, that hood must have been massive or something. So
just the way it was.
We're going to see, because it's dry sump, we're going to see if we have any more room to make it a little bit lower, just to get some of those types of things set up.
What are we running for a radiator and
the standard PWR radiator that we put in here with the brushless fans. Got all that stuff set in place with just the mock-up bracket at this point. As you can see, the throttle body is going to be super tight with the LT5 here. Usually the LT4 is a little bit further back, gives you enough room to get out of there.
So is this going to warrant something to where like what was done on the Nova? And
maybe, or we move, by moving the engine back, that helps as well. So because it's an LT5 with a 10-speed, it's going to require a GM ECU, which means I can only run one air intake tube that's functional because of the mass airflow sensor. And so there's things like that that we're just starting to get everything kind of set in place. So we'll start figuring out header position. We'll start figuring out a lot of things like that. Other than that, it's coming along. So it's gonna be a neat car. We got the carbon fiber inner fenders over there. We're gonna start getting those kind of set in here to see what that looks like. I think we may scan the end once we get the engine in back and in position, because I think we'll just make some mounts here that move the engine back about 1.5 inches or so from where the Roadstershop has it set up, and move that back, and then we'll scan this while it's in the car, and then we'll either take the whole engine and trans out and put the hood back on and then scan it, and then integrate both scans together to see how far this really sticks through here to see really where we're at.
Where everything intersects. Yeah.
So.
And so, yeah, that's going to be a lot of work. I don't even, I've only seen, I think, an LT5 in maybe 1 or 2 Chevelles. And
I mean, if it's a stock chassis car, you have more room, but that's because the room you're trading was given, still is available in ride height. So there's more room from the crossmember to the hood in a stock Chevelle, but when you start making the car low, the blower gets tall and does those things. And this is just one of those things, if you want to be different and cool, it takes a little bit more work. So, well, man, this deal is going to be a looker when it's done.
Yeah, that is huge. I mean, if you open up the hood and see that.
And the customer wants a reliable 750 horsepower. That's exactly what this is. It's going to run every time. It's going to make a huge amount of horsepower, but it's also going to do it reliably every time. But it's far more complicated. It has 2 fuel systems. There's a lot of complexity that comes with the LT5 for it to be the reliable 700. But man, this thing with a 10-speed and all that is going to be a rocket.
Now, is this going to have like how's it going to sound? I mean, I don't even know if I've ever even heard one out of a Corvette.
I think they sound a little bit healthier, but it's gonna have a very smooth idle. It's gonna have a lot of those types of things. It's not gonna be the choppy monster that you're gonna have in other cars, but that's part of the reason that it's a little bit more reliable, drivable, touring friendly kind of car that just happens to be a psycho monster.
Yeah, you open up the hood and people can see it.
Yeah, or you open up the throttle.
There, you open up the throttle.
It's going to tell you about it.
I'm sure.
So we got X braces in the back seat that we use to kind of put that in the car to strengthen everything back up. We got fuel tank in here. Now that we've gone with an LT5, we'll get a fuel pump spec for this. You can see how everything's kind of attached together. We have the braces that go in here that go from the wheel tubs. I believe it goes like this. Probably like this. So it goes on there to attach those back together. It gives us a place to also mount interior panels, fuel filler, all that stuff set in here. We're going to start fitting the bumpers pretty tightly to the car. We made these Pullmax pieces just for mock-up at this point that will fine-tune how these get finished here at the end. And so these were stamped on the Pullmax. And they've set in the car, and then we're just determining whether this is going to go down and go behind here, and then it gets welded in to delete the rain gutter, but still keep some of the rain gutter style.
What do you guys think about this? I want to know some comments. Let us know. Is this drip rail delete direction that looks good, or just smooth them out? I know a lot of them are just smooth it all the way across the roof, which is cool.
It's cool. It gets a little too smooth for the rest of the car.
I think this still gives a little bit more detail to it and makes it look refined.
I think this still keeps some of the classic look of the car, which I think is, some guys want to make it where they try to modernize the whole car. Everything's super, super modern and that type of stuff. And for us, I think we're trying to run a balance in the middle where it still keeps some of that classic look, but you want to keep the look, but have some of the refinement.
So it looks, this looks like the stainless, the molding that would be on it, but it's just not protruding out as aggressively as what it would be factory.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks good. It gives you the style of it and look and everything is just not so.
Yeah, as if you were to, if somehow you could just pull the stock rain gutters in. That's what we wanted it to look like.
Yeah, I think.
And then I think on guys who want to run the trim on here, we would make a little billet piece that goes on here, that it goes on and attaches around, that makes it look like there's trim molding on this. But I think that not having that abrupt edge underneath as the air comes in and goes up here and creates noise under the rain gutter, I think that would be.
So you're saying that if you were to do this again, you could either do paint and just have it fall off with the paint, just contour
it would all
with the
just
paint.
be painted, or you would have a piece that goes on after paint that would give you a chrome polished edge. So just barely a little bezel that sits on here that goes underneath and probably replaces this piece that would sit under there and gives you the look of as if you had the trim molding on the rain gutter.
Yeah, standing 10 feet away, it would look like it's there, but something.
But it's all just clean and tidy.
Yeah. And so has the decision been made if it's going to go down the pillar or go?
I believe it's going to go down the pillar, but I haven't heard that for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I think, to me, I think that you guys are on the right. Not to say that I think it looks good.
They're not painting it blue though, so I don't know. You may not.
Well, they're not.
Does that change your mind?
It's not going orange. You like orange, I like blue.
It's not going orange. No.
But it all makes sense now seeing it like this. Before you've explained
But it is going white.
The car is?
Yeah.
Nice.
White with red interior and some cool wheels. You haven't posted the rendering of this yet?
You know what? Maybe back when we first started, maybe we should throw that back in there again.
Put that in there.
Yeah,
maybe.
That did. I do remember the rendering, but we haven't seen this car for a couple episodes or a couple months.
I figured people got tired of patch panels.
Yeah. Well, you're not trying to advertise. Again, I think a lot of people starting to, wonder like, hey, do you guys do body work and, do panel work and all that stuff, which
No,
is
we
not
build
the case.
cars.
This is
Sometimes you have to do panels and build bodies and do that type of stuff to build cars. And that's what we're doing is building cars.
Yeah. So. Okay. What else we got on this car?
That's pretty much it. So pretty much it.
It's no longer Swiss cheese.
There's no more. There are no more holes in it that Chevrolet didn't intend.
Yeah, and really, you know, again, like we talked about in the previous, is that someone could have started with a better car, but at the end of the day, it is great that this is saved.
Well, we can weld this in nicely instead of a car that you have to deal with the warpage here when you weld that in. That's why we haven't put the seam in yet like we did on the Buick. You know, we're able to weld this seam up now and make that nice and hammer it because you can access that. The fender mod that we went over last month, you can feel the added space that's in here. That would have been a nightmare to do if you weren't doing quarters.
If you guys remember the last episode, he was showing how they modified, you can go back, how they modified the inner tub.
To move the wheel outward just a little bit more. Gives you, kind of tidies up this space, but this becomes the limiting factor for ride height as the body rolls in. But it gives you a little bit more space to move everything out. And so there's a lot of those types of things that, you know, we can also do the same thing back here where we can access stuff back here. There's things we can still access because we're replacing the quarters.
Yeah, and these are all the little things that are under the paint job, under the body, that takes time and takes money. And,
but we can come in and put properly sized holes in the kick panels for the speakers they want to run, not have to run all these adapter pieces or whatever. It just gives you the access to more pieces and parts.
To do it exactly the way that you want it
so that it's done great from top to bottom. So,
okay.
Yeah. Well, if you're still with us, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, let us know below. If you want to contact us about anything, just hit us up on our website with the contact page. We'll get right back to you. So,
all right.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thanks, Roger.